Sorba, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. Pleasure to have you. Now, what we try and do on this podcast is try and make sure that it can be as timeless as possible. So if someone listens to this as soon as it comes out, it's the same experience as if you listen to it in, say, 18 months' time. But it would be a big mistake of me to start anywhere other than the Player of the Year award. Do you agree with it?
Well, to be fair, there's been some good candidates, different types of candidates. I think, with my goals, assists, etc. Then you got someone like Ash, who's more dominant and kind of the goals. You might not see the goals, but like his work at the back is top, and it's just literally different players. But nevertheless, I'll take it. And it's an honour to take it, really.
Before you turned up at Stoke, one of the things that most people know about Stoke City is how passionate the fans are. The fact that it comes from the Stoke City fans, how quickly did you learn there were certain things you got to do to impress this fan base?
I think the move was perfect in the sense of I leave everything out there on the pitch, whether it's the start of the season, the middle of the season or the end. I played to the very end. With the same energy, the same intensity, and I see the fans, and I think we're very familiar, similar in a sense. We all have to work to where we get to, and I think that's why we get on so well, because we're the same. I see myself in them, and they probably like to think they see themselves in me.
Yeah, it's quite cut and dry with Stoke fans, isn't it? It's a very straightforward fan base that if you turn up and you really try, you get on well with the fans. That's quite straightforward.
100%. And I just think, for me, it's the basics of football. Working hard, doing the basics. It's literally something that should just already be naturally in your DNA to be a footballer. And some people, it feels like, why is it so hard to just do the basics? But some people, it just comes natural. And for me, I like to think that working hard, running around, because you do all the hard work and the basics, the skill and the ability to go put a ball in the top corner just becomes easy.
When you get told that you are the fans' Player of the Year, in the dressing room, who's the first person to comment to you? Who's the first person, I suppose, that comes up to you and says, "Oh, well done"? Does that make sense? Because I imagine there'll be some people that were quite happy to take the mickey because it is football and that's just what it's like. But there'll be some people that are like, "Oh, well done, good stuff." That
I think Frank was the first one. Like, well done, well deserved, and then, then went into a bit more deeper conversation. Like he was just saying how proud he is of me and how much he's seen me grow throughout the season. And someone like Frank is someone that's, some people probably on the outside don't see how important he is to the team. From the success at the beginning to the not so successful towards the end, but he's been the same throughout the whole thing, keeping everyone humble and keep everyone on a balanced table kind of thing. Bakes was another one, but his one was a bit half and half. So a bit of banter, but then a bit of, I'm proud of you kind of thing. And it's top, surprisingly, Junior was probably more on the serious side of, I'm buzzing for you, like you deserve it, this and that, and it's a top changing room, and then the rest of them was just more banter, really.
You're going to have to be good this year to beat Viktor Johansson, because everyone just loves Viktor Johansson. The other thing I was thinking is, how do you feel about us setting up a potential Frank Fielding fan club? I mean, you could be honorary members because he is that sound. Do you think we could get it off the ground?
100%. 100%. He's probably one of the best people I've ever met in football.
Yeah. Not just in football, though. He is dead
honestly,
sound.
Just the soundest guy, and he's the most humblest guy. If you go out of line, he's the first one to tell you, but then he's the first one to praise you if you do something good, which is, he's got that perfect balance. And for me, if I had someone like him everywhere I go from now to the rest of my career, who knows where I could go, because he keeps me level-headed, tells me when I've been good, tells me when I've been bad, and he always wants me to improve, and same with everyone else. And I think there's not many people like that in football, and I just think someone like him, the club needs to keep him as much as they can.
The thing is with him as well, he's a big fan of this podcast, listens to every episode, so I like to think now of him just driving down the M6, little wry smile on his face knowing he's getting spoken about. It's always nice, isn't it?
Oh, trust me. Listen, I could speak about Frankie all day.
Yeah, okay.
He's just, like I said, he's the best.
Spin-off podcast. I'm just saying,
Aye.
could potentially happen in August. Just a
Aye.
spin-off appreciation podcast.
I could tell him a lot of times.
Okay.
Podcast would be perfect for you.
Okay.
You know.
Get him on. Let's go right back to the start then, if that's okay. Obviously, we'll talk more about Stoke a little bit later on. We'll talk all about your career, because that's what we do on Potter's Pod. It's all about getting to know the players a bit better. London lad, what were you like at school?
Well, little secret, I almost got suspended my first week.
First week?
Yeah. I was just
Not in primary school, surely.
Oh, no. That's more... Primary was just chaotic.
St Margaret's?
Yeah. But I just wanted to be a footballer was just the main for me. You know, so I was the kid that, I don't need maths. I don't need science. I don't need this. I'm going to be a footballer. So it was... No one could tell me different. You know, like... And that's where I was getting into little back and forth with teachers, and it's not good if I'm not saying kids now start doing that because you want to be a footballer.
Don't do this.
Don't do this. But that was just me, and I was very argumentative as a kid, you know. But I think that's probably comes in the area in a sense, you know, like working hard class wasn't the bright sunshine of an area, but you know, you had to graft. You had to try to get yourself out of the area kind of thing. And football was kind of like my escape to get out.
Not tag rugby?
Rugby, flipping out.
You played a bit of tag rugby though, didn't you?
I played everything to try to get out of school. Everything. I played rugby, I played cricket, I played everything. I even, 1 minute, there was like a mix netball, and I tried to get myself in it just to get out of school. Honestly, I did everything in my power to.
Was that Mr. Harris?
Yeah, what a guy, man. Absolute legend. You've done your homework, innit?
Yeah. What do you think he'd say if he could see you now? I'd say he could see you now. He's very much alive.
Yeah. I'd like to think he'd probably say he's proud of me. He's one of the few that kind of supported my growth. And I think from primary school to secondary school, I think the PE teachers were kind of the people I kind of stayed close to. Your people. Yeah, because they understood me, because they're probably known as your more unserious kind of personalities, and that's why I just get on so well with them. And Mr. Harris is just a legend. From when he came into the school, I knew we'd get on. Bumped head a few times on a football pitch, but that was just me, just being a little kid, wanted to be the best. And once we kind of on the level pitch of it, he was top.
Do you want to hear the messages sent?
Yeah, quite.
Hi Sorba, this is Mr. Harris, one of the teachers from your old primary school, St Margaret's in Barking. The last time I saw you, I believe, when I bumped into you on a train at Barking Station and you had just joined Boreham Wood. Well, you've come a long way since then. I've been following your career with great interest and I'm extremely proud of what you have achieved. I remember teaching you sports and taking you to many events representing our school. Football, cross-country, athletics, tag rugby. Can also recall speaking to you and your Year 6 teacher, Mr. Sharp, to make sure you behaved yourself so that he would let you go to matches. We had a successful school team, and I remember you and your friends, MJ and Daniel John, being chosen to represent the Barking and Dagenham district team. When I watch you play now on TV, Sorba, I still see that same energy, enthusiasm, and love of football that I saw in you as a child. You always had talent, self-belief, and a desire to win, but sometimes found it difficult when teammates made mistakes. You wanted to play everywhere and do other people's jobs as well as your own. If a defender made a mistake, you wanted to go in defence. And if the goalkeeper made a mistake, you even wanted to go in goal. If you do return home this summer, fancy dropping into St Margaret's for a day? Maybe do an assembly with me and some football with the kids? That'd be great. I often tell the children at school all about you, and we'd love to see you. Anyway, say hi to your family and sisters from me, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Take care, Sorba. Bye.
For now, let's top that.
Best bit about it is, he's not even my teacher. I still saved him as Mr. Harris in my phone. You can't beat it, can you? You can't do it. You can't do much about it.
No, that was top that. I haven't been back to my primary school in so long. But for to hear that, it makes you want to make them even more proud and go again, you know. And it just always takes you back. Remember, you always say it, always got to remember where you came from, you know. And he's right there. I even try to do it here now in Stoke. Whenever I see a mistake at the back, I'm like, hey, Gaffy, you got to put me centre half for a bit. I need to get back there. I need to show him. I need to do it. And that's top that. He
is very insistent on getting the message across that you are welcome back to the school at some point. So I've passed it on. Is that fair? You
That's fair. I'll be there.
passed
Don't
on.
worry about that.
So, 2 sisters, Juliet and Suna, is that right? Your dad is from Sierra Leone. Your mum is Welsh, as we know. When you were growing up, what were you like in and around the house?
Just loud. I was kind of the one that kind of got away with a lot of stuff, you know. I was like the clown of the house, really, you know, especially when COVID hit. I tried to just be as positive as I could, you know, messing around. Music always loud. You know, as soon as I wake up, if I ever woke up about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm the worst person to have in the house because the music's on as loud as I can. And I'll just go in everyone's room one by one and just absolutely annoy every single person in that house. But nah, yeah, I'd probably say, I'd like to think that's what they would say. That was like the clown of the house, really.
2 different cultures, though, Sierra Leone and Welsh. How did that kind of work together? What do you think you got from each of your parents because of their backgrounds, I suppose, is a better
I'll probably say I got my free talking, my kind of personality probably from my mum. You know, she's more outgoing and, you know, always looking for a good time and loud. If something was on her mind, she'd speak it. Whereas my dad's more quiet, kind of more observant. So that's probably where I get that from, in the sense of if I go into somewhere new, I'm always looking around, kind of observing the changing room, observing every player, just to kind of feel, okay, what's he like? Okay, that's what he's like. Okay, when things are going bad, that's what he's like. But when things are going good, that's what. Okay. So I'm kind of more I kind of look more at your character more so I'll probably get that more from my dad.
Okay. Your mum's from Newport, isn't she?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you were growing up, you've obviously got all these different things going on. You're living in London, dad from Sierra Leone, mum from Wales, so there's a lot of different cultures and things going on in the house. I'm right in thinking your mum was the one who mainly would watch you and take you to football. Is that right?
Yeah.
Big fan of a big tasty as well, is that right?
Yeah. It was always, my mum was top, like, got me to see, but my dad was more the working man, you know, working all day, probably come home for like a couple minutes and then back to another job.
What did he do?
He was more like doctor, nurse, so go around to like elderly people's houses and look after them. And so sometimes and then sometimes he'd go into like prisons and be like the doctor around them. But he was just, wouldn't say he wasn't hard in the house, but he was always working to make sure I had boots, me and my sisters had food and stuff like that. And then my mum was kind of the more at home, you know, make sure everything was ready, uniforms and boots were cleaned, and make sure I got to football even if it was late hours, I'd still go to football. But yeah, my mum was top. They both had their role to play in where I am today, and that's why I'm forever grateful to both of them. And you know, when I go to play for national team, or even when I come in, they come to watch. It's always a blessing, really.
Sounds like they've set a high bar for you to bring up your kids.
Yeah, of course. For me, it's about being the best parent. I kind of take both of them, in the sense of I'm not much of a shouter, but I'm more of I'll give you the look kind of thing, and you know, you got to liven up kind of thing as a kid, you know. But it's always good to have fun as well, you know. Kind of sometimes you got to go to their level, you know, because them smiling, you know, kids smile is probably the best thing in the world, you know, seeing them happy.
A laugh.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
seeing them happy is the best feeling. And, you know, for me, it's about learning, because I'm still young. So I'm still learning the way of being a dad and, you know, growing and becoming a better. So I'm learning from her. She's learning from me, and I kind of talk about my childhood and see how they react to that. And yeah, it's top.
Any early coaches that made an impression?
It was, too fair. When I joined my first team at Euro Dagenham, there was a man called Ray Jerome, and it was my first I remember all my mates played for the team, so it was, I'll come play. I never joined the football team, nothing. I just went, all my mates were there, and I remember you just threw me straight in to play, and it was man. And from then it was just growing, and we ended up going 2 years undefeated, beating everyone, winning everything. We was top until about 12 years old, and every single person just went to academies. You know, some went Dagenham Bridge, some obviously I went to West Ham at the time, and some went to Charlton, and it was unreal, to be fair.
He's the person that took you to West Ham, isn't he? He's the coach, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got obviously Cameron Moyer and Luke Garrell at Bronwood, top. I think I grew up a lot because I wasn't like someone who went through an academy for a period and then had to do the long way up, in the sense what some people say, through non-league. And I had to grow up fast, you know, I had to get a job, I had to sometimes do a job, and then next morning...
You're rushing on here, Sorba. We've got plenty of time to get to that. Let's concentrate.
When I start talking about him, coach, I can't stop. You know what I mean?
So Ray was the one that was the first kind of person that really got into football, saw what you were like, and then took you into West Ham. And so he was like the kind of person that kind of really gave you the kickstart.
Yeah, 100%. He was just... And then it was just top. You know, he was just a good guy. You know, I'd spend time with him outside of football as well. You know, because you could see, you know, my mum always took me to the games and stuff like that. So he would kind of help, and sometimes at the travel to West Ham, and sometimes I'd play for West Ham, and then straight after the game, I'd go play for Dagenham. So I owe everything to him. He's one of the few that kind of believed in me and knew there was something there, and he was one of the few that knew how to get it out of me. So it was top. And I remember bringing him to Wales v Belgium,
November 2025.
Yeah, and it was just, afterwards you could see the emotion from him, and I'm not much of an emotional person when it comes to feelings and stuff like that, but you could see it from him, and it was just an amazing experience to see and to like hear his appreciation towards me. And it was for all them years of where he started everything to now watching me play for Wales against one of the best countries in the world. It was an amazing feeling. Your
photograph from that night is all over the Euro Dagenham Facebook page, just so you know. You might want to skim through them. They're all good. They're lovely photos. You might want to in the future. He sent a message as well. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah. Well.
This one.
Hi Sorba, how you doing? It's your old coach and your friend Ray Jerome. My fondest memory of you, Sorba, is when you came to Euro, 8 years of age, just running about with your ball. You didn't care about who was around you. Everybody just looking at you, just playing football and enjoying it. I get emotional when I think of you as that little boy and seeing you now. And what you've done, I'm just so proud. My heart bursts. You love it and you help everybody else. Maybe you don't understand that. Maybe you don't see that. When you're playing, you're helping other players be just as good. You was just a joy to coach, to watch, to be with. The love, it just bursts out my chest. After we've had our games on a Sunday, I used to pick him up in the morning, Sunday afternoon. I'll go, do you fancy something to eat? He'd go, yeah, I'll have a little chicken burger. And I'll say, what do you want? And I see Sorba, little Sorba, standing next to me. People would say, is that your son? I'll go, no. He'd look up at the menu and he'd say, I'll have a big tasty. And I'd look up the menu and I'll go, I'd have to laugh. And he always had a big tasty. The dearest one now. To me, I would have got you anything you wanted anyway, because you was that type of child. God love you.
That was amazing, that.
He's a nice bloke, isn't he?
Yeah.
I was on the phone to him for genuinely about an hour just to get that out of him. He was a lovely bloke, but when he starts talking about you, he can get into it.
Likewise. He's top. He was like another father figure, you know, like when it comes to football, and you could see how much he wanted, not just me, but a lot of the boys, how he wanted them to just succeed and just enjoy playing football. And that's why, like, now, I think the day I stop enjoying playing football will be the day I just hang it up. Because for me, there's no point playing something or doing something that you're not enjoying. I get that all from him. So, yeah, everything you see here, that's because of him.
Now, this is the point where we talk about West Ham. And we talk about the time of, obviously, when you left West Ham. And I never, ever want this podcast to be people coming on because you give so much time and just regurgitating stories that you've told before. I'm not in any way downplaying it, but you've spoken about it quite a lot, both here and other places. So you were at West Ham, you got released, and you didn't know what to do, to a point where you chucked your shin pads and your boots in the bin. Now, I'm not glossing over that, but you've said it before, so I don't want you to feel that you have to say the same stories over and over again. Is that okay? Yeah. I appreciate I'm telling your story, which is not the idea of the podcast, but I just didn't want you to feel that you had to go through the same thing again. I want to kind of jump to Boreham Wood, because Boreham Wood is the team that when you got back into football, that's where you started really enjoying your football. Were you 16 when you joined? Is that right? What was that like?
That was another one, because I was still in that phase of I don't want to play, but a lot of my mates were going to different types of trials, from colleges, different types of trials, and it was just kind of a thing, a summer thing. Let's go play football, so let's go to these trials. They were going to Boreham Wood. I had to use one of my boys' boots because the only way they wouldn't let me just sit around and just watch, so I ended up taking a pair of his boots and just playing. But it was one of the first times I played in so long. Yeah. And it was just, I could see the joy starting to come back, and that's just playing in little 7-a-side games, while coaches watch, and it was one of them ones when Matty Wichlow, one of the ex-players there at the time, Ricky Shakes, Danny Woodhouse, speaking to them, and they were asking me, where did you play? And I was like, I don't play. And it was like the shock. But it was one of them ones where I enjoyed it, but I didn't want to admit the fact that I enjoyed it. So
because you've been upset with everything.
That's what I mean. So I didn't want to go through that again. But because also all my mates were going there, so I signed up for the college and stuff like that. And it was just one of them ones where they're all training, but I was just on the side of the gate. Just, not for me.
Playing out to get.
Yeah, you could say that. I know they want me, but I don't want you. But who would have thought one time then training again would get me here, in this moment.
Were you doing a building course, is that right?
Yeah. So first I did the personal training course. So anyone needs a personal trainer, I'm not saying call me, but I can get you into shape. Yeah, I can get you into shape. And then, obviously, when I started playing first team properly, I still had to do another year in college. So, just got put on a construction kind of course, once a week. And yeah, it weren't fun.
Is this around the same time you're working at JD Sports in Oxford Circus and scaffolding?
Yeah.
I tried to find someone your old manager at JD Sports, and he never returned my calls, unfortunately. There was a lot of very strange LinkedIn requests for people in and around that area that have come from me over the last few weeks, so I apologise if you are one of those people. So you kind of, when you're at Boreham Wood at that point, from all the stuff I've seen and watched and listened to and read, it seemed like it was quite a fresh and a fun place to be, because the manager was only 30 when he took over as the first team manager, wasn't he, Luke? Yeah,
he was young. Yeah. Obviously, he was first in and around the academy, then obviously got the job, and obviously, like you say, you can see what he's doing now. It's unreal. For me, he could definitely go higher. 1,000,000% he could definitely go higher, and definitely coach in the EFL. But it was just one of them ones where it kind of took a lot of kids all around London, and some even coming from, I think at one point, there was a kid from Manchester that came. But it's it took kids from all over the place to just come and just enjoy football as well as get an education. And that's why for so long, it was the number one, in the whole of the UK when it comes to football and education, as well as, talent coming through and actually going to the first team and making careers. Iliman and Jai is one.
That was literally my next question I was going to say. I did not know that he started there.
Yeah. It's so much talent has come through there with an education as well. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I've always said kids around my area, and that's why it's so top when I hear loads of kids from Barking and out going there and experiencing what I experience, because there's nothing like it compared to, going for an academy and stuff like that, which is, I'm not saying that's not a worse way to go through, but when you come through that type of system, it's gives you that time. You have to grow up. You have to works on your growth as a person, leading into a man, as well as getting a football and education, looking for the future kind of thing.
I think a lot of the audience and the people listening will be able to resonate with this. Have you been at football clubs, obviously not Stoke, where you are with players that might have come through the academy and they might say something or do something, and obviously that is not your background, where you just like raise that lie to yourself?
Yeah, it's I look at, I banter with Bakes all the time, because I come through Chelsea and, I'll look at like just little things. So like I'll look at like, for example, like his toes, as weird as it is, but I'll look at his toes and I'll be like, your toes are too perfect. Do you know what I mean? You ain't worked. You know what I mean? That's Chelsea FC toes, them. You know what I mean? And like, but you hear different stories, and of like, you see like now you might see like an 18-year-old on like 15 grand a week, or driving like a big Range Rover, and I look and I think to myself, I was getting trained.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I had to flip and jump the barriers to get trained because I couldn't afford the train. Do you know what I mean? But the sacrifice I had to make to get to where I am today, some people wouldn't understand. And that's why I look and I think to myself, you could be 18, 19, but anything can happen. Anything could just change in a split second. And then what's next? Do you know what I mean? I feel like sometimes, maybe I'm not too sure, I weren't there, but sometimes maybe in the academy, they don't really teach you the fact of life. And if it don't work here, you could go into this, or you can have a backup plan and have this. Whereas maybe the way they're getting treated, they're not looking at that. They're just trying to look up to the point that at times they might force the way to go up. But sometimes you might have to go down to go back up. There's always different routes, especially in non-league.
I love the idea of you sitting on a team bus somewhere and someone saying something, you'd be like, you've not been on the poles at 6 o'clock in the morning in the frost.
Yeah.
I like to think of that.
Oh, it's mental, because when I talk about my scaffolding days, even when I think about
just for clearance, on the poles is a scaffolding phrase rather than like talking about Polish people. Just to be clear.
Yeah, just to be clear.
But, wow, this road's taking a real turn, this podcast has, Rob. Is everything all right?
But I find it's mental, because I used to wake up, me and my brother used to wake up about 6 in the morning, get on the earliest train, straight up towards Essex, Epping. And they've been trying to pick up cold poles about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, all day till about 6 p.m. with the biggest boots that don't even fit me to try and put on. You couldn't go on them sites with a pair of trainers on, but you make good friends there. Do you know what I mean? Like you listen to their stories, and and when you do scaffolding, you have people that might be cage fighters, might be boxers, and all different types of careers that they're doing. But it teaches you different things than waking up, getting a Range Rover at 18 years old, driving to Cobham, for example. Do you know what I mean? Or Clayton Wood. Whereas me at 18, I'm picking up a pole, or bloody trying to run to the stock room to try and get someone's shoe size. And it's how life just changed. It's unreal.
Be honest with me now. I thank you for being so open so far, but I need you to be truthful with me at this point. At what point did you give up your discount card from JD? Or did it still get used when you might have finished that job?
It might still got used. It might still got used. Until to the point they realised, you know what, he actually don't work here no more. Maybe I should stop
4
this
years
now.
ago.
Yeah.
This man's a professional footballer. He played for Wales last night. Why does he still want 20% off?
That's what I mean. But JD was just a different experience. Like, so I remember the shop first opened, and me and my boy would just hand out our CVs, and then.
So this is in central London. This is like literal central London.
Central London. And I remember giving the CV in, and then me and my boy were walking into the next shop, and he got a phone call. Is this blah, blah, blah? You got an interview tomorrow. And he was buzzing. I'm thinking, oh, damn. So everything I said on my CV, they realised it was a lie.
Copy and paste.
Yeah. And then straight after I got the call, and I thought, bloody, we're both going to get a job. Yeah. And then it was just, worked there for a year, and it was just mental. You see different types of people, and it was just, because it was central London as well, so it was just constantly busy. Monday to Sunday, just constantly busy. And sometimes I had to do a night shift once, and it was horrific.
It's not for you?
Nah, not for me, not for me.
So you are playing at Boreham Wood. As you mentioned, there's some players that are doing really well at the time. You've got a young manager. He's still there now. Just at the time of recording this, Luke's still there. And at the time of recording this, they are in the playoffs to get promoted into the Football League, which will be the first time that they've been in the Football League. What do you think he thinks about what you're doing? You know where this is going, don't you? I don't know why I'm trying to set it up like it's going to be a surprise.
I'm hoping he doesn't go too into detail of our time together, but I'd like to think again he's proud of me, and yeah, you know what, let's just hear it.
It's like, Rob, you've showed your cards now. Let's just crack on with it. Here we go.
Hello, Sorba. Luke Garrard, your first team manager from Bournemouth Football Club. One of my favourite memories of you, mate, was when you come in training one day and you'd been at college on your bricklaying course, and you spoke to Champ, myself, and Kane Smith, and you told us all that you'd be able to build us a barbecue, mate. It summed you up all in one comment. Another thing that makes me smile at you, mate, is the message you give me when you was watching first team training. You spoke to me through the fence and told me you was going to be in that team, and you was true to your word, mate. Just talking about it now gets the hair on the back of my neck stand up on end, from the kid from East London, from the lad that all he asked for when it was in COVID in his bedroom was pot noodles, to the boy now on the international stage. Trust me when I say this, you're one of the biggest success stories the club's ever had, I've ever had. And when I watch you with my two young kids and I tell them how proud I am to have played a small part in your journey, yeah, mate, you've done it, and I'm so proud, pal.
He's been very modest there. He played a big part in a lot of what I am today. But no, that's amazing to hear.
He's a nice bloke, isn't he?
He's a good guy, man. He's funny. I'll give him that. I wouldn't tell him back then.
No.
I would have told him back. But now, he's actually quite funny.
During COVID, you did like an hour-long Coach's Corner episode that was on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he is funny, to be fair to him. Do you know my favourite part of that interview? And I know the idea of someone 6 years later telling you something that you said 6 years ago during COVID is a bit strange. Do you mind me saying this? You described yourself. The question was, in 40 years' time, when you are standing up at your retirement do, when you've got a grey beard, how do you want your closest friends to describe you? Do you remember what you said?
No.
Do you want me to tell you?
Go on.
You said, I think they'll describe me as funny, trouble, argumentative, talented, and cocky.
Yeah. Flipping hell. Maybe cocky, maybe take that out a bit. But no. The rest, I'd agree. I'd like to think that. Argumentative, because I like to always think I'm always right. But then, even if I'm wrong, at one point in that whole argument, I was right. I was right.
That specific moment.
There was a moment in that I was right. But because of that, because you now allowed me to feel like that one moment I was right, now I'm going to argue that one point.
I'm vindicated.
Yeah. So what that whole argument actually started with is irrelevant now. We're arguing about that point that I was right.
Okay.
But, yeah, to be fair, that does sound about right. Yeah.
You went on from Bournemouth because there was talk of you going to Charlton at the time, and you could have gone to different places. You had a very good FA Cup run, and it felt like you'd, in your own words, you got the love back for it, and you were flying. You go to Huddersfield, you turn up, you originally go into the B team, and you move from London to Huddersfield when you've been working in Oxford Circus, you arrive in Huddersfield. They're two different places. Yeah. And you've been with your family and all that kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden you plonked in a strange place that you've never been to before. Where are you?
I just remember going there, waking up my first day for Huddersfield, just like going to training, and I saw snow. And straight away I called my agent and I went, where have you put me? I'm seeing snow. I was like, I don't understand what's going on here. And it's obviously gone from non-league to now championship. So at this moment, I'm in a hotel. And obviously I'm seeing snow. I'm waiting about 20 minutes to get a cab from the hotel to the training ground. And I'm thinking, what is going on here? And it was just a culture shock in the sense of, I'm seeing things I have not seen before. So I remember one day as well, I was in a hotel. I opened my blinds, and there was a cow just outside my window. And I'm thinking, where am I? Where am I right now? And it was just a massive, massive change that I knew was about to come.
Yeah. But also, you've gone from being with your family, your two sisters and your mum and dad, living in a place in London, to being on your own as still a youngish lad at that point. Where'd you start?
I was in trouble for a good month.
Yeah.
First month, I was in trouble. Getting an apartment. And I'm thinking, you get an apartment, you're going to get a TV, you're going to get a sofa, bed. None of that was there. So I'm thinking, crap, I've got to buy a TV. So now I bought a TV. I ain't got a TV stand. So I'm like, bloody hell, you got to buy so much stuff when you live alone. And I just remember buying everything, and I'm just thinking, I remember ordering the sofa, and I'm thinking, how am I going to get this sofa upstairs? And then I remember he's come with the van. Because the only place that I could think of a sofa was Argos. So he's come with the van, he's like, all right, here's the sofa. And I'm thinking, how am I supposed to get this upstairs? And it was just an absolute struggle. But once I was settled, I was not too bad. And surprisingly, in that building, there was a lot of us in there. Yeah. So I ended up finding that there was a lot more players in there. So I weren't too bad after that.
The thing is, you can't even blame it on being in a sheltered footballer's lifestyle. It's just a young lad's lifestyle, isn't it, at that point?
Literally.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like you've had everything handed to you on a plate and now you're somewhere that you're not. It's just being... And like anyone who's listened to this that went off to university for the first time or moved out for the first time, it's something that everyone's gone through.
100%. And my cupboard was just, like you said, it was full of pot noodles. Pot noodle, because it was just the easiest thing to make.
I can boil a kettle.
Yeah. And I can't cook for the sake of it, Usually I just have people that would just cook for me. Whether that's my mom, my dad, my sisters, they would just cook for me and I just nibble off their plates, you know what I mean? But to be fair, look, I still can't cook. Yeah. Even though I lived alone for so long, I still can't cook.
So you went from joining initially to the B team to being the Championship Player of the Month within like a really short space of time. Was that before what you were... were you beating your own expectations at that point?
I think it was one of them ones where, in my own self-belief, I believed I could play in the Championship when I first went there. But then it was, for me, the main struggle was the stuff outside of it, in the sense of nutrition. I went there not knowing what pre-match was. And I'd see on the schedule, we're in a hotel, so hotels before game. These are things that I've never done before, Like my pre-match was a meal deal from Tesco. You know what I mean? Or there was one time before a game I had KFC. But these are memories that like...
Big Tasty? Too big.
No, that's too big for Bournemouth. But this is what I mean. Then going into Huddersfield, a professional environment, talking about nutrition, gym, then talking about pre-match. I'm thinking, what's pre-match? They're like, it's like food before we play. And I'm thinking, so you guys, none of you go Tesco or... No, you have to come to the training ground, you have to eat pre-match. And I'm thinking, bloody hell. Then like, you have to go for a walk when you're at the hotel. And I'm thinking, a walk? What's going on here? But everything was just so new to me. But I'm so happy I got it young. So then now it's more easier. And then, like you said, going then from playing B team to then making my debut to then ended up being player of the month, the first month of the season. It was just, a crazy experience.
Didn't your mum cry when you told her that you go to Huddersfield?
Yeah. Because it was one of them ones where obviously Charlton was very, very local. Yeah. So it was kind of, that's where we were set on going. To then New Year's Eve being told, I'm going to Huddersfield. And my first thing was, where's Huddersfield? And then it was between Leeds and Manchester. Like, you're right, you got Leeds, you got Manchester. It's big cities. It's about 2 hours on a train to London. I'm thinking, okay, it's not too bad. Then obviously, like I said, seeing all them different experiences, it's like, oh wow, what is this? But then getting into Carlos was massive in that, getting me up to speed as quick as I could. And at that time, he had loads of injuries, so it was something that I had to do in 3, 4, 5 months. Had to get done in a month to try and get me ready to play. And he was massive.
Carlos Corberán.
Yeah, he was massive.
And Lee Bromby, ex-player, was a sporting director. We've not got a message for him, don't worry. No more messages, I promise. Or am I, Phoebe? So you obviously go to Huddersfield, and again, I'm not skimming over the time you spent at Huddersfield, but I still want to talk about obviously playing for Wales and your time at Stoke. When you were at Huddersfield, there was obviously some good times and some bad times. Losing in the playoff final must have been a tricky one to take, especially due to an own goal as well.
Surprisingly, I've not watched the game back since. I think it was a moment of being so close for it to just go like that. Obviously, look, things happen in the game. People say one thing, people say other things. For me, we should have had 2 penalties in that game. But it's happened. You know, we move from it, we learn, we move forward. But that game was so painful because it was like I could have went from non-league to the Premier League in such a short period of time. And it being a breakout season for myself personally, it kind of just went just like that. And trying to get over that, it was hard. You know
what was it like in the dressing? Because it was 1-0, Forest won 1-0. Thanks, it was due to an own goal, wasn't it? What was it like? It was a beautiful day as well, as I remember. Yeah. What was it like for the players in the dressing room, especially knowing it'd been an own goal? And obviously there's a lot of controversy around afterwards with the referee, etc., etc., etc. What was it like from your point of view?
Everyone was down. Everyone was devastated, the usual, where you'd be like after a final. But I think where Carlos was so top was he was good at kind of getting us to get over it quick and kind of move forward. And he was so top in the sense of he knew the right things what to say to each player, because everyone took that defeat the same but differently as well. You know, some people could probably get over it quicker than others. But where he was so good was he had us looking then more forward to the following season. And I think that's where then the hunger came. Everyone was then looking forward. We're going to go win the league next year. That's where all our mindsets were. We're going to better off next year. This ain't happening again. He doesn't want to see us feel down or beaten up again. And like I said, it just made us more excited for the following year.
There's some good players in that team as well, isn't there?
Top players. And you look at how some of them are now, you know what I mean? Levi's our first pick for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Cole.
That's what I mean. Yeah. And it's you look at that, see Lewis O'Brien, how top he is for Wrexham and how good he was for Forest. Toffolo
over in America.
Over America doing this thing, and we had big names. Fraser Campbell, big name. You know, and Jonathan Hogg, probably the biggest leader that I've probably ever seen. You know, everything by the book, professional. You know, these are people that I looked up to when I was around the changing room that played big parts in how I am today.
Was it ever going to be anyone other than Wales?
Nah, it was always Wales. I think from when I was a kid, don't get me wrong, I think my dad would have loved me to play for Sierra Leone. But I think he knew that Wales was where my heart was and where I see myself. That's where I'm from. Growing up a lot around Wales as well, always there, you know. And for me, when I was young, I've always said, if I ever make a professional football player, I'm going to play for Wales.
Was it ever close with Sierra Leone, or?
I don't think it was close. I think they were probably one of the first to approach me. But I think my heart was so set on playing for Wales, you know, and I think my dad understood that. And to be fair, I don't regret it at all.
I'm reliably informed that your mum was quite vocal at Euro Dagenham. Do you think she's quite as vocal now when you're playing for Wales, or more vocal?
I think she's more. I think sometimes she don't really like coming to the stadiums. I think she prefers to watch it on the TV, so you can't really hear her effing and everything. You know what I mean?
And that's just her.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. She's very outspoken. She's very, whatever she wants to say, she's saying it. It don't matter who hears or who is at. Do you know what I mean? But I know she loves it every single time I play for Wales. It's always an excuse for her to go back home. You know, go to the caravan in Porthcawl and all that. They all love it.
When Craig Bellamy first came in, you said in an interview, I think it was S4C, that you rang him to make sure that you could clear up anything that he'd heard about you. What do you think he could have heard about you, and why did you think it was important to speak to him before he heard anything?
I think my experience before Bellamy wasn't the experience that I would have hoped, in the sense of, look, the manager was the manager at the end of the day. You know, whatever he says goes. You know, you can't challenge the manager or whatever. And I think I was still young and naive. I always want to play. You know, I'm not here to make up numbers. I'm here to play, and I'm here to be the best. And that was my mindset. And it still is my mindset. My mindset is to be the best player on that pitch every single week, whether that's playing against a lower team, a team in our league, or a team above. For me, it's about being the best. And I felt maybe our personalities maybe clashed a bit. There was a lot of experienced players in that squad at the time. You know, you had the Bells, the Ramseys, you know, Chris Gunter. There was big names in that changing room. And for me, I felt like I could hang. And by hang, I mean, I feel like I can play. You know, I back myself to be able to play. And because I'm going into every camp high in confidence, ready to play. But I'm going to camp and I'm not playing at all. I'm not even going to look in. So obviously then that's when... One thing I think from non-league to the championship is the way people can see. And what I mean by that is I could do something that I think no one's ever going to see it. But my attitude can be seen everywhere.
What kind of thing?
So for me, I don't know how to hide disappointment. That's always been my problem. You know, you will know in my face when my head's gone, I can never hide it. So that was my problem. And it probably still is my problem to today. But I feel like today I've worked more on it. So you kind of maybe see it less. But it's still there. You just see it less. But with, I think, the fact that we clashed a lot, it kind of brought a different side out.
So just help me, I don't want you to go into too much specifics, but just help me think what that is. For someone who's never played professional football, I've not been in that environment really. Is that a case of you're at training and someone says, oh, do this, and you're like, I'm not really sure about that, and you don't know not to say that kind of thing because you, as you said yourself, you're quite argumentative, and is that what it's like? Yeah. Just help me understand that.
Yeah, it's just understanding, I think, what I learned growing up was you're not right, the manager's always right. Yeah. So you've got to kind of play the game. You need to play the game. You know, that's how you're going to get on the pitch, is by playing the game. I was always about challenging that. I was always about, he's telling me to run there. But then if I run there, am I not more likely to get the ball if I run that way? But you're telling me to run there to open up space for maybe someone else. But because I'm not seeing the ball coming into my feet, I'm seeing the ball going in someone else's feet. So I'm thinking, so you want me to be a decoy? So you want me to just... So I'm just here basically just to make up numbers. And for me, I was never about that. I wanted to play.
But now you see, can't you understand that way of thinking it? Not that you've given up or anything like that. You just understand.
I think now I understand it. Now I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to attract players, which will now open up space for someone else, which will benefit the team. And I think that was what the problem was. They probably felt as if I wasn't playing for the team.
Who helped you understand that?
My agent was massive in that. I used to get so many bollockings. Especially towards the last years at Huddersfield, I used to get so many bollockings from him. And it was just, like I said, I couldn't hide my disappointment. And it was, but then other people take criticism different to others. So I could sit in a room here and everyone can criticise me and I can take it. Because at the end of the day, I'm the one playing football. You're not playing football. So when fans criticise me and this isn't that,
yeah, not here.
Yeah, but as much as you feel like you're getting to me because you're saying my name, I couldn't care less. Because at the end of the day, why am I going to listen to you when you've never been on this pitch? Do you know what I mean? So it's like, but I was very reactive, which is when some people kind of just want, look, just put your head down and just do what you said, telling you to do. But I didn't want to do that. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I felt like that persona of what people probably think of me. It's like you'd probably see me and think I'm this type of person. But then when you meet me, you'd be like, you think the complete opposite of who I am.
Does that come from your mum or your dad?
I'd probably give that to my mum as well. Yeah. You have to, once you meet me, you will understand. He's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's not all these bad words under the sun. He's actually a good guy.
Can I share a secret just briefly? When you first signed for Stoke, someone who'd worked with you in the past said, make sure you say hello for me. You work with him quite closely. He says, a lot of people might say stuff about him, but he's actually dead sound. So
Literally.
Yeah.
That's literally probably the main thing, is you might hear things, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this and that. But for me, don't judge me until you've met me. Because when you meet me, you will think the complete opposite of what you've heard. That's just because of what they think. That's what they think I am, or that's what I was. But that's not who I am now.
This is what you spoke about quite a lot in the past,
Yeah.
about being misunderstood.
100%.
When we talk about Wales, we've got to talk about the World Cup. What can we say about the World Cup?
In my opinion, that's going to go down as the best World Cup. But I'm not saying it just because I played. But everything about it was top. And I think what people probably perceived what it was going to be like, I think it surpassed all of that. And for me to play in it was a mental feeling. I just remember Harry wasn't going down, and he called my name, and I'm thinking, he's just going to tell me to go warm up. Like, that's what he's been doing. He's been telling me to
Qatar, it's roasted.
Do you know what I mean? He's been telling me to just go warm up, and you know what I mean? And I just sit back down. But he's like, no, you're coming on. And he was like, and I remember turning around, my brother was in the crowd, and I'm like, I'm coming on. And he was like, what? He was like trying to get his phone out, and it was just an emotional day. And in my head, I was just thinking, let me just touch the ball, just so the cameraman can catch one photo for me. And it was just a mental feeling. That
When you came off the pitch, who was the first person to text you, or who was the strangest person that you'd not heard from for ages that texted you?
To be fair, it was a mental one, because my phone, even though I was on for like 8 minutes, but my phone went off as if I played the whole game.
Yeah.
You know, it was, obviously you've got the friends and family, the first ones that open. They're the first message that open. Yeah. I'm like, that was sick, man. And you just see like the reactions. You know, like I remember there was one group chat, my boy Jerry was showing me all his family and watching, and they were all celebrating like I scored coming on the pitch. You know what I mean? And it's all that type of stuff is just crazy. And my brother was so emotional on the pitch, and it was just a crazy moment that I know no one can ever take that away from me. That I've played at a World Cup.
Yeah. And I imagine it's one of those things where you get people that you work with at JD. They get a lot of mentions, aren't they, JD?
Yeah,
if you want to send us any product, you're more than welcome to.
Send it.
Like people that you work with on a scaffolding site, all these people that every time you speak to anyone, as we've heard already, that has spent time in your company, they all just want the best for you. So I imagine that was another reason. It's not like you're this arrogant person that everyone's just like, me, I'm not bothered what happens to him.
That's what I mean. I just think it's a persona that I probably portray on the pitch, that you probably think, flipping out, I couldn't imagine being around him all day. All he does is moan, all he does is effing and blinding, all he does is this and that. But then outside of football, I'm just a chilled guy. Do you know what I mean? Like I just want to win. At all costs, I just want to win. And I want people to come with me, not against me. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I win, we all win. Do you know what I mean? Because I need you guys to get to where I want to go to. Do you know what I mean? We all need each other. And that's how I am. Do you know what I mean?
You spoke before about speaking to a psychologist to help you with it. What do you think that speaking to that person's helped with, particularly?
He's helped. So like I said, the disappointment thing, I can't hide it. And he showed me different ways where I can kind of not show it, but show it in a different way, you know. And he made me realise that, look, not everyone can take someone shouting at them the same way you do. Because you scream at me, I'm thinking, all right, cool, watch. When I get the ball now, I'm going to show you why you should never scream at me again. Whereas some people could go into their shell. But I never realised that before. But now I realise it now. So that's why it's like some people, you got to kind of put your arm around them and kind of tell them what you're trying to say, but more calmer. Whereas where some people can kind of handle being screamed at. Because as long as it's both ways, because I'm the first person to praise you when you guys do something well. But then just know you do something bad, I'll be the first one to tell you. But that's not me. It's not personal. It's just I want to win and you want to win. So it's not a personal thing. It's when you start making it personal, then that's when you don't want to learn. It's not about ego. Forget your ego. It's not personal. I just want to win the game. By any means necessary.
Thank you for doing this. Are you enjoying it?
I am.
Good. Should we talk about Stoke?
Yeah, go on.
So you've been out in France. Again, you've spoken about this and what you learned from that quite a bit. So again, forgive me for jumping over it. But you turn up in Staffordshire. When did you first realise that the move might happen? Because it was a bit protracted, wasn't it? Because it could have happened a bit sooner. Is that right?
Funny story. I was in Tenerife with my family and just about to get inside Sion Park.
North Italy Island. Yeah, nice.
Just about to get in Sion Park. So excited. I'm thinking, everyone else, they're excited as well, but I'm excited. I'm thinking, yes, water park, this is a bit of me, this.
It's got some good slides.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, here we go. And then my phone rings. And I'm thinking, who's this? What am I answering the phone now? No. Then my agent calls me. He goes, oh, you're going to get a call from Mark Robbins. So make sure you answer when you call. I thought, oh, I think he just called me. And I hung up. I'm going to say just say my connection was bad. Yeah. Then he called me again. And I remember speaking to him while I was like waiting for the wave pool to try and miss the waves while it was coming in. Just spoke to him for about half an hour to 45 minutes, just speaking to him. And we've been in each other's crosshairs for a long time, you know, when he was at Coventry and speaking to him then, it was kind of like, it's a no-brainer. And I remember coming off that call, straight away calling my agent saying, let's get that deal done. I couldn't think of anywhere else to go other than Stoke to go play under him. Because it was just, the way he spoke, it was a no-brainer for me.
What did he say?
Well, he just said, look, the way you are, that's how the fans are. You know, you work hard, you play for the stuff on the front, not the back. And I promise you come here, you will score goals. You will get assists. You won't just get assists, you will score goals. And I thought, all right then. And I remember at the start of the pre-season, he went, I'm going to get you 10 goals minimum this year. Minimum. If you listen to me, you will get 10 goals. And I remember getting my 10th goal at Preston. And he went, like, result. But I told you I'll get you 10 goals. Because you've been in every position that I've told you to be in. And you're scoring goals now. And I remember looking back and I thought, to be fair, he did say that, to be fair. Fair play to him. But no, I think he's top.
Is the headline from this, wave pool nearly made me miss my move to Stoke? Or if there's a shorter queue on the slides, you want to get the telephone call, who'd have known where you could have been? Could have still been in France.
Yeah. Could be still at Huddersfield. Who knows?
Ray thinks that you're quicker and faster at Stoke than you've ever been.
I agree.
Ray Jerome from earlier on in the podcast, he thinks you're faster now than you've ever been. Why?
I just think it's the hunger. I think the hunger's even more now. Whereas I've experienced that. I've experienced the ups and downs at Huddersfield. I've experienced France, where it's a different ball game. You know, it's more physical, so I can compete with them physically. So it was like, that next move for me is the one that's going to elevate me to the next level. And I couldn't think anything more than me and Mark Robbins. And I think what makes it even better is Robes is with me at Wales, where the left wing kind of began, in the sense, because I've always felt the left side's always been my best side. But everywhere I've gone, it was always the right side. No, you're on the right, we're on the right. And it was like, when am I going to get a chance to play on the left? And I remember Bellamy coming in and goes, you're my left winger. And I thought, finally. And obviously Robes seeing that, then Robes being here, it's just become a match made in heaven, in a sense. You know, and the season speaks for itself, you know, and that's down to them and my teammates. And it's down to everyone just playing to my strengths. And basically, see what happens if you play me on the left, not the right.
It's a fair point.
Yeah.
Can't lie. So the argument, you're going to win.
Yeah.
You mentioned the goals. There's been some decent ones. You might have shinned a few. Which one do you think's been your best?
I enjoyed the whole one. I really did. Yeah. I love the Southampton goal. I think it's because I've been on to Vic for the whole of pre-season leading up to that. I said, trust me, when you catch the ball, you don't even need to look. I'm always running. And it's the one time where I've seen him catch it and I'm thinking, I've gone here. You better play it to me. And I just remember seeing the ball and it just lit up. And when we scored, I just remember after the game going, I was like, I told you, I'm always there. And then since then, while he's been fit, I think every single team has seen that. So now it's like you see him catch the ball, I've already legged it down the side, and you could just see about 3 players just already running. They haven't even looked back, they've already started running. And it's a secret weapon that we both had.
How can I talk to you about the celebrations without it being a cliche question? What question can I ask you that you haven't been asked 100 times before? Do my job for me, basically.
You know what? It's just the best celebration. We need to get it on FIFA ASAP.
Is that the reason why you're doing it?
Nah, it's just hey, look, if I can get it on FIFA, then I've made it. I've done it. But it's from the song Poker Face from Lady Gaga. So she does a little thing with her hands covering her face, and my sister's kind of made like a little dance to it and did it, and it's just been, I thought, you know what, this is going to be my thing. They were always like, you need to have something that's yours. And I was thinking, oh, bloody hell, like, everyone's done a backflip. Flipping out, everyone's done this.
Constantly doing them at the start of this podcast.
Everyone's done this, and I'm thinking, what can I do? And then they thought of the dance, and I thought, I can do that. I've done it at Huddersfield. And I thought, okay, did it in France, and then I was doing it here. But I still ain't done it for national team. And that's the one that's bugging me at the minute. Because that's where I need to do it. And then the walk one, it was a bit of a joke between me and Steve. It was, hey, if I score, I'm going to do the Umtiti. And I was doing it in the change room. And I thought, what? If I score, I'm doing it. He was like, you won't do it. And I was like, watch, I'll do it. And then we scored. And the first way I did it, and I said, I told you I would do it. He went, fair play.
Down the left side has turned into a bit of a decent duos over the year with Eric and with Aaron Cresswell. I think we've been pretty honest with our love of Aaron Cresswell on this podcast. What do you think both of those two bring to your game?
Forgetting Gibson as well.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And obviously Boston, one of the 400 positions he's played. Yeah. But now, Cressy, all three of them bring different when they're behind me. Cressy's more experienced. He would talk me kind of through the game. So he wants to keep it ticking, keep it playing. Whereas Gibson's more, I'll give you the ball, so you don't do your thing. I'll just defend. I've got you. Whereas Cressy wants to kind of play with me. He wants to come play, and at the start it's enjoyable. Do you know what I mean? Because I knew I could attract 2-3 players over, and I knew with his ability to cross the ball, I could just leave it to him, and he could do it. Eric's more energy. You know, he wants to really come and join me, which is something that is different, which is what I haven't been used to, but I've enjoyed it. But it's just they've all brought something different, and I've enjoyed playing with each of them, you know, because they're all different. It's not like I'm playing Cressy and then I'm playing with Eric and then playing with Gibbo, and they're all the exact same. It's like they all bring something different, which is enjoyable.
Wouldn't he have been at West Ham when you were there as a kid? Because he was there for years.
We've had this conversation, but I think he might have come just after me.
He joined in 2015, 2016. Yeah, you'd have left, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would have been gone then. Yeah.
Oh, I thought we could have had a beautiful moment there where it's like,
wrong.
yeah, there we are. No one else has spotted that ever before. A big moment for us. When you talk about spending time at Stoke, you call it like a second home, and you say, obviously, we mentioned about being the fans player of the year. When you got here, what is it about this club specifically that has been different to all the other places that you've played?
The changing room. I think the changing room, but then this is when it goes back to Frankie. He makes sure we all leave the egos out the changing room. So whatever happens on the pitch, or it doesn't come in the changing room, you know, and everything is different in the sense of, you know, upbringings are different, cultures are different, but once we get in that changing room, everyone's the same, you know, and we lose as a team, we lose together. If we win together. And there's no one that goes out of their own way. Like there's a togetherness in that changing room, you know, and I think that's what I haven't had. Because I think different teams, there's been different types of changing rooms that I've been a part of. And it gives me the same, I say it all the time, the same feeling I get from this changing room was from the playoff final Huddersfield changing room, where everyone was together. You know, we do team night outs, we do team meals, and everyone enjoyed each other's company. And that's what I get here. And the success is going to come, you know. And I think Frankie's massive in that. When we do little fine meetings on Fridays, that type of stuff I haven't been a part of that, but everyone loves it and it's enjoyable. But that's down to the experienced boys kind of keeping everyone, like everyone speaks to everyone. There's no groups over there or everyone. There's a massive togetherness in the team.
Got 2 more questions. Because you've had such a good season and because you have such an impact on the pitch, do you feel that a lot of the responsibility lies with you?
To be honest, I like the fact that there's pressure on me in the sense of I have to perform, you know, because if there's no pressure, there's no point playing. You know, if I want to be the best, like I keep saying since I was a young kid, wanting to be the best, that comes with pressure. That comes with expectation, and I enjoy that, you know. The gaffer says it loads of times, you know, I joke about it all the time. Oh, when am I getting the armband then? When am I getting it? But he sees me as a leader, and I've never been put in that sort of category as being a leader, and it's different, but I enjoy it, you know. And I think I'm someone that kind of leads by example. I wouldn't be much of a screamer. I'll just show you how to do it and kind of thing. And for me, like I said all the time, especially in this podcast, that I want to be the best. And I want you lot to come and want to be the best. You know what I mean? I want you to challenge me. I want you to, because then when I challenge you, I want you to give it back. Because everything needs to be the same, you know? And I want to be successful. You want to be successful. So let's be successful together then, you know? But I enjoy it.
I was going to ask the final question. I was going to ask you if in 40 years' time, if you sat there, you got a grey beard and your friends described the 5 best traits, but you kind of touched on that earlier on. So the other question I was going to end on is, when you quite famously chucked your boots and your shin pads in the bin when you got released by West Ham, what do you think younger than that, what would have been 15?
Yeah.
15-year-old Sorba would think to the person sitting here talking today?
If he was sat over there?
Yeah.
I think he'd look and probably wouldn't believe what is about to come for him. Because I think if I'm him and I'm looking at me now and everything that I have now, you know, a family and, you know, a home, 2 homes, you know, I think he wouldn't believe what's about to come for him. But it's not going to be an easy one for him, because there's going to be so many ups and downs, you know, and he's going to walk into a world that are going to have loads of opinions. It doesn't matter what you do, people always want to find the bad. No one really cares about the good, you know, because the bad is what makes the stories, you know. And he's going to walk into that world knowing that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and to constantly have belief, because, like I said, the dream will always be there. Once the dream ends, that's when you stop. Dreaming is the biggest superpower anyone can ever have, is to dream.
Good way to end it.
Aye.
Cheers.
Good that.
Did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed it.
Good stuff. Happy days.
Top.